All right, welcome back. This is going to be good. It gets a little harder on our government to keep beating us over the head with their EV, electric vehicle narrative. As you watch all those football games last weekend, pretty much all the new car ads are for electric vehicles. One of the big sticks they've been using to force this unholy migration is the actual cost of fueling up your car, right? Last summer, or whenever gas gets over $4 a barrel, there was always a natural sales bump in electric cars and hybrids. But that might be a thing of the past. It's been happening in Europe, which is saying something considering how expensive gas is over there. But as oil fell here in the fourth quarter of 2022, gas became cheaper than electricity to fuel up your car. Wow. All right, so here you go. $11.29 to gas up your car for a 100-mile journey. $11.60 to juice up your electric vehicle for the same trip, 31 cents more. And if you charge at a remote station and not at home, the numbers get way worse. It's like $3 more. So maybe the wheels will fall off some other government mandates before it's too late. My next guest watches these things very closely. Please welcome to the show, Rebecca Walser. Rebecca, thanks for being on. Really appreciate it. This is one of those things that starts to fall apart in front of your very eyes.
It does, Scott. And, the thing is that this discrepancy, right, this 30-cent differential, that's with, not a mass migration yet to EV. When most people move to electric vehicles, the amount of pressure that's going to put on our very aged and very outdated electrical grid system. I mean, you had California in September with the heat wave in September asking their EV owners not to charge their vehicles between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. And so that means you had to, if you go to bed early, you have to get up and you have to plug it in the middle of the night to get the lower reduced numbers. The point is, Scott, nobody has done an analysis to see if this migration can be supported by our current failing electrical grid infrastructure. And I can tell you that it won't. I mean, there's just not the infrastructure as is. I mean, look at what's happened in Texas the last couple of winters. You've got these rolling blackouts. It's becoming a known thing in America to just have rolling blackouts, which means we have electrical grid problems. So we should probably think about, moving our entire or half of our entire electrical fleet over the next 10 years, more so towards electrical charging, when obviously that's coal-fired electricity generated coal is how that's coming. Is that green? And do we have the capacity? And the answer to both of those are no.
Well, the road to hell is always paved with good intentions. And I would say that we're 20 years into this internet revolution, say from around 2000-ish, Gibibble.
Yes.
So that's not new and it's not surprising anybody. But we still can't get royal broadband to a lot of folks that watch this show out in the middle of the country, right? Operationally speaking, if you can't get broadband after having had internet for 20 years to the rural parts of America, on God's green earth, how do you expect to get charging stations out there? And we're already seeing that a lot of those are being ripped off and shut down because everybody's stealing the copper out of them. I mean, This thing is just one bad idea after the other. I get you want to do something good for the earth. That's fine. But maybe you should start going back to, saving the whales than trying to do this big migration from combustion engines over to EVs.
And the other thing, Scott, that people aren't really talking about is the privacy and the controllability. Like, there's a lot of gas stations. You can drive your vehicle and you can see gas stations all along the way. Just to your point, do we have charging stations all along America? Not yet, obviously. But let's talk about it. The smart grid technology that they have had so many people put in their homes. I can't tell you how many people in California woke up to a surprise this year when they weren't able to turn their thermostats down during the heat wave because they had relinquished that right to the power company. They basically agreed to smart metering, and the smart metering controlled their thermostat in high peak hours. And a lot of people realized, wait a minute, I can't control my own thermostat because of a smart meter connected to the Internet of Things. And this is where we're headed. What's to say, Scott, that we are going to have the ability to buy an electrical vehicle, which, by the way, the new Biden law basically says that all electrical vehicles that are come out of a certain date and beyond have to have the ability for a remote shutoff through government agencies. So you're talking about a controllable vehicle by the company, by the government, and now they can also control if you can stop and actually refuel it. So really, are we going to own our vehicles, or are we going to be leasing the energy to assume that we own our vehicles? This is a whole shift. Goes back again to the World Economic Forum. While you are owned nothing, you will rent everything, including the lights in your houses that will be connected to sensors and you will not own them. The electric company will come out and replace them for you and charge you for renting them. It's all going to the Internet of Things, and we need to time out on this whole deal and say, hey, wait a minute, do we want this or don't we?
Some things may seem convenient, some things may seem on the face of it to be a good idea, but right, when you don't have any cash to fill up your combustion engine with gasoline, and they have one gas station every 50 miles now because they're trying to get rid of it, and they're forcing you over to these electric vehicles that they can, look, everybody brags about the fact that they can turn off my heated seats from the dealership. That's not something to brag about, because that means they can turn on and off your car, right?
That's right.
And so that's one of the things I'm worried about. Folks keep giving away rights, privacy, and freedoms for all of this convenience. And that's not good enough to me, right? We gave it away for this
convenience.
Yeah, right.
We can convenience ourselves into a 15-minute smart city that is divided into zones that you cannot leave but 100 times a year. This is the new thing. You cannot leave your smart zone more than 100 times a year. So, I mean, this dystopian model that is just being outlined that people are just swallowing like it's candy down the throat. I'm just like, wake up.
Well, we're trying to wake them up. We're trying to wake them up on this show. That's for sure. I love having you on every Monday. Thank you.